In the year 2150, Earth had become a quiet but thriving hub of humanity. The human race had spread across the solar system, living in colonies on the Moon, Mars, and even the outer planets. They were no longer the timid species they once were, but they were still not powerful enough to stand against the greatest forces in the galaxy. In the vast expanse of space, the Galactic Council held dominion over countless worlds, their fleets imposing and their decisions final. Earth, however, had remained mostly out of sight, continuing its peaceful existence and avoiding the conflicts that raged among the stars. On the surface, Earth seemed like any other planet, a thriving world with bustling cities and a growing population. But beneath this tranquil exterior, there were whispers of something hidden, something unknown even to the rest of humanity. The human race, in its quest for survival, had made preparations, and the time had come for them to take action. It started with a strange transmission intercepted by Earth's top military commanders. At first, it seemed like a routine message, one of many sent out across the galaxy, but this one had a chilling twist. The Galactic Council had spoken. Their message was simple, but it carried a weight of power that could not be ignored. Earth, your time has come. The message continued, demanding tribute from the human race, a tribute that Earth had no intention of providing. The Galactic Council had long looked down on Earth, considering it an insignificant speck in the grand cosmos. To them, humanity was weak, primitive, and easily controlled. Earth had stayed under the radar, focusing on exploration and progress rather than war. But now, the Council's arrogance was clear. They sought tribute, and if Earth did not comply, the consequences would be dire. The leaders of Earth convened in a top-secret meeting, one that not even the highest-ranking officials outside this circle were allowed to attend. A massive round table sat in the middle of a dimly lit room, the walls adorned with high-tech screens that flickered with information. As the representatives from various factions of Earth gathered, an air of tension filled the room. The stakes were high, higher than they had ever been before. The message from the Galactic Council had left the room in stunned silence. What had Earth done to deserve such attention? Why now? Some spoke of the Council's growing influence in the galaxy, their greed for more power, and their disdain for any species that wasn't part of their vast empire. Others argued that Earth was an easy target, a relatively young planet that could be easily subdued. Earth had no allies in the Council's eyes. Humanity's space fleet was modest at best, a fleet designed for exploration and defense, not conquest. Among the leaders was General Elias Holt, a retired fleet commander who had long since retired from active duty. He had been living in seclusion on Mars, but his expertise was now needed. He had seen the rise of the Galactic Council and understood the threat they posed. He had spent years studying the galactic politics that controlled the stars, and now he was being called back into action. "We cannot submit," General Holt said, his voice steady but filled with a quiet urgency. "The Council may think we are weak, but they don't know what we've hidden." The room fell silent. Holt's words hung in the air, the unspoken meaning clear. The human race had something the Galactic Council didn't know about. A secret. It had been kept hidden for centuries, built in the deepest recesses of Earth's defense systems. A fleet unlike any other. Hidden fleet. A voice from across the table asked, "Are you suggesting?" "I am suggesting," Holt interrupted, "that we have a fleet ready and waiting. A fleet that was built for a moment like this. A fleet that has remained secret until the time came for it to be unleashed." The room erupted into murmurs. The idea of a hidden fleet was both shocking and exhilarating. Many had thought Earth's resources were too limited to build such a force, but Holt's calm demeanor left no room for doubt. He had seen it, and he knew what it could do. "If we show them our fleet, we show them our strength," Holt continued. "But we have to act fast. The Council's ships are already on their way." The mood in the room shifted. No longer were they debating whether to submit to the Council's demands. The question now was how to unleash the fleet, how to prepare for the battle ahead. Earth had always been peaceful, but if the Council wanted a war, humanity was ready to fight back. Outside the room, Earth's citizens had no idea what was happening. Life continued as normal. People went about their daily routines, unaware of the quiet storm that was brewing. But the leaders knew the truth. The time for peace had passed. The time for action had come. As Holt's words settled in, the room was filled with a new sense of purpose. Earth had been underestimated. The Galactic Council had made a grave mistake by thinking they could demand anything from Earth without consequence. "We'll show them who we are," Holt said, his voice filled with conviction. "We'll show them the strength of the human race." A new chapter had begun. The world had been changed forever. The peaceful existence that humans had known was over. The storm was coming, and no one knew how it would end. The only thing that was certain was that Earth would no longer be a passive player in the galaxy. The hidden fleet was about to make its presence known, and the Galactic Council would soon learn just how powerful humanity truly was. The first wave of ships would be ready. The humans had waited long enough. The storm was about to hit. As the first rays of sunlight pierced through the clouds, General Elias Holt stood on the balcony of a high-rise building in the heart of Earth's capital city. The view before him was breathtaking, a sprawling metropolis that seemed peaceful, almost serene. Yet beneath that calm exterior, the weight of the impending storm hung heavy. He knew the tranquility of the world was about to shatter. Holt turned away from the window and walked briskly back into the command center, where Earth's most powerful military minds were already at work. His mind was focused, calculating. The hidden fleet was no longer just a secret. It was Earth's last defense against the Galactic Council's demand for tribute, and Holt had no intention of allowing his home planet to bend to the will of the Empire. "Status report," Holt called out as he entered the bustling room. The air was thick with tension, but there was also a sense of purpose. This was a moment they had prepared for, even if most of humanity had never known it. "General, the fleet is ready for deployment," said Commander Rachel Ivanov, a veteran of Earth's space forces who had been working closely with Holt on the fleet's activation. Her voice was steady, but Holt could hear the excitement, the adrenaline that pulsed beneath her calm exterior. "All 500 ships are in position?" Holt asked, his tone demanding precision. "Yes, sir," Ivanov replied. "The ships are at their designated coordinates, cloaked and waiting for your command. We have the fleet, the technology, and the firepower to stand against the Galactic Council. But we need to move fast. Their forces are close, General. If we don't strike now, they'll be upon us before we're ready." Holt nodded. He knew the stakes were high. The Council had underestimated Earth, but now the tables were about to turn. The hidden fleet, built in secret over decades, was equipped with advanced technology that surpassed anything the Council had encountered. It was Earth's ace in the hole, a weapon that no one had ever suspected. "We'll need to take them by surprise," Holt said, his mind working through the plan. "When we reveal our fleet, it has to be with overwhelming force. We can't afford to give them a chance to regroup." Ivanov's eyes narrowed. "The Council's ships are heavily armed. We may have the element of surprise, but their numbers are overwhelming. We can't underestimate them." Holt was silent for a moment, considering the situation. He knew the risks, but he also knew the humans had something the Council didn't. They had the will to fight, the ability to adapt, and the hidden fleet that could change everything. "We won't underestimate them," Holt said, finally breaking the silence. "But we'll make sure they underestimate us." The first phase of the plan was simple. Earth's fleet would remain cloaked, hiding in the vast reaches of space, undetected by the Council's sensors. When the time came, the fleet would spring into action, targeting the Council's flagship and any other critical vessels in their fleet. The surprise would give them an edge, but the humans had to act quickly before the Council could bring their reinforcements into play. As the minutes ticked down, Holt took a deep breath and walked over to a large screen that displayed the position of the incoming Galactic Council ships. They were coming fast. Holt's fingers hovered over the controls, ready to give the order. Outside the room, Earth's citizens had no idea what was happening. Life continued as normal. People went about their daily routines, unaware of the quiet storm that was brewing. But the leaders knew the truth. The time for peace had passed. The time for action had come. As Holt's words settled in, the room was filled with a new sense of purpose. Earth had been underestimated. The Galactic Council had made a grave mistake by thinking they could demand anything from Earth without consequence. "We'll show them who we are," Holt said, his voice filled with conviction. "We'll show them the strength of the human race." A new chapter had begun. The world had been changed forever. The peaceful existence that humans had known was over. The storm was coming, and no one knew how it would end. The only thing that was certain was that Earth would no longer be a passive player in the galaxy. The hidden fleet was about to make its presence known, and the Galactic Council would soon learn just how powerful humanity truly was. The first wave of ships would be ready. The humans had waited long enough. The storm was about to hit. As the first rays of sunlight pierced through the clouds, General Elias Holt stood on the balcony of a high-rise building in the heart of Earth's capital city. The view before him was breathtaking, a sprawling metropolis that seemed peaceful, almost serene. Yet beneath that calm exterior, the weight of the impending storm hung heavy. He knew the tranquility of the world was about to shatter. Holt turned away from the window and walked briskly back into the command center, where Earth's most powerful military minds were already at work. His mind was focused, calculating. The hidden fleet was no longer just a secret. It was Earth's last defense against the Galactic Council's demand for tribute, and Holt had no intention of allowing his home planet to bend to the will of the Empire. "Status report," Holt called out as he entered the bustling room. The air was thick with tension, but there was also a sense of purpose. This was a moment they had prepared for, even if most of humanity had never known it. "General, the fleet is ready for deployment," said Commander Rachel Ivanov, a veteran of Earth's space forces who had been working closely with Holt on the fleet's activation. Her voice was steady, but Holt could hear the excitement, the adrenaline that pulsed beneath her calm exterior. "All 500 ships are in position?" Holt asked, his tone demanding precision. "Yes, sir," Ivanov replied. "The ships are at their designated coordinates, cloaked and waiting for your command. We have the fleet, the technology, and the firepower to stand against the Galactic Council. But we need to move fast. Their forces are close, General. If we don't strike now, they'll be upon us before we're ready." Holt nodded. He knew the stakes were high. The Council had underestimated Earth, but now the tables were about to turn. The hidden fleet, built in secret over decades, was equipped with advanced technology that surpassed anything the Council had encountered. It was Earth's ace in the hole, a weapon that no one had ever suspected. "We'll need to take them by surprise," Holt said, his mind working through the plan. "When we reveal our fleet, it has to be with overwhelming force. We can't afford to give them a chance to regroup." Ivanov's eyes narrowed. "The Council's ships are heavily armed. We may have the element of surprise, but their numbers are overwhelming. We can't underestimate them." Holt was silent for a moment, considering the situation. He knew the risks, but he also knew the humans had something the Council didn't. They had the will to fight, the ability to adapt, and the hidden fleet that could change everything. "We won't underestimate them," Holt said, finally breaking the silence. "But we'll make sure they underestimate us." The first phase of the plan was simple. Earth's fleet would remain cloaked, hiding in the vast reaches of space, undetected by the Council's sensors. When the time came, the fleet would spring into action, targeting the Council's flagship and any other critical vessels in their fleet. The surprise would give them an edge, but the humans had to act quickly before the Council could bring their reinforcements into play. As the minutes ticked down, Holt took a deep breath and walked over to a large screen that displayed the position of the incoming Galactic Council ships. They were coming fast. Holt's fingers hovered over the controls, ready to give the order. What the hell was that? A voice echoed through the Galactic Fleet's command ship. Captain Trask, the commander of the first wave of Council ships, stood frozen for a moment, trying to process what he was seeing. He could not believe his eyes. The once imposing fleet of the Galactic Empire, now under fire, began to scramble. Ships that had been moving confidently toward Earth were now in disarray. They couldn't pinpoint the source of the attack, and their sensors were useless against the advanced cloaking technology of Earth's fleet. The Council had never faced a foe with such a tactical advantage. "Deploy countermeasures," Captain Trask shouted. His face was pale as he realized that the fight he thought would be over in minutes was now turning into a nightmare. However, it was too late. Earth's fleet had already made their move, and it was devastating. "Target the next ship, fire," Ivanov ordered. The entire fleet followed her command to perfection. Earth's ships fired in unison, laser blasts cutting through space. Another galactic cruiser exploded in a burst of blue flames, sending debris scattering across the vastness of space. The Galactic Council's ships began firing back, but their weapons were slow and inaccurate, lacking the speed and coordination of Earth's fleet. The humans had the advantage, and they knew it. The ships, equipped with advanced technology developed in secret over the years, were proving to be more than a match for the once feared fleet of the Galactic Empire. On the battlefield, Earth's ships moved with a fluidity and grace that made the Council's fleet look clumsy and outdated. Each ship in the hidden fleet had been designed to work in tandem, their movements coordinated like a well-rehearsed dance. It was as though the fleet itself was alive, reacting as one organism. "This is impossible," one of the galactic officers shouted as their command center was flooded with reports of destroyed ships. Panic began to set in. The Council had underestimated Earth's power, and now they were paying the price. On Earth's command center, General Holt stood with his arms crossed, watching the battle unfold on the giant holographic screens. His expression was stoic, but inside, he couldn't help but feel a surge of pride. The humans had faced countless challenges before, but this was different. They were no longer the underdogs in this fight. "We have them on the run," Holt said, his voice low but firm. "Keep pushing. Do not give them a chance to recover." The fleet's attacks were relentless. Ship after ship of the Galactic Fleet was destroyed, torn apart by the power of Earth's weapons. The battle was only just beginning, but the outcome seemed inevitable. The Galactic Council had made one fatal error, assuming they could bully Earth into submission. And now, they were learning the hard way that humans were a force to be reckoned with. As the last few Council ships struggled to regroup, General Holt's eyes never left the display. He knew that victory was within their grasp, but he also knew that the war was far from over. This was just the first clash, and it had been a resounding success. "Phase 2, Holt said, his voice now filled with determination. "We end this." The Galactic Council, once the unchallenged rulers of the galaxy, found themselves in a state of panic. Their entire fleet had been thrown into disarray by the sudden and unexpected attack from Earth's hidden warships. The sound of alarms echoed throughout the command ships as they struggled to coordinate their efforts. Officers ran from station to station, trying to maintain order, but the damage was overwhelming. "Report. I want a full report now," Captain Trask demanded, his voice shaking with frustration and fear. His normally composed demeanor had cracked under the pressure of the unrelenting assault. The once pristine battle formations of the Galactic Fleet were now shattered, with ships scattered and burning in the cold vastness of space. "We've lost over 30% of our fleet already, Captain," an officer replied, their voice grim. "We can't even track their movements. Our sensors are useless against their cloaking technology." Trask slammed his fist on the console in frustration. How could we have been so blind? Earth, humans, were never supposed to be capable of this. His voice was full of disbelief. It wasn't just the destruction of their ships that had shaken him. It was the realization that the humans had been hiding this entire fleet, biding their time for just the right moment. On Earth, General Holt stood in front of the massive holographic map, watching the live feed of the battle. His face was serious, but there was a glimmer of satisfaction in his eyes. The Galactic Fleet, despite its size and might, was being decimated by the humans' superior tactics and technology. It was a sight he had long dreamed of seeing. Phase 1 is complete, Holt said, his voice calm but authoritative. We've sent them a message they won't forget. But this isn't over. We need to stay focused. He turned to Commander Ivanov, who was standing nearby, overseeing the communications. Phase 2, General, Ivanov asked, raising an eyebrow. The next phase of the plan was risky, but Holt had always trusted his instincts. If anyone could lead Earth to victory, it was him. We're moving to Phase 2, Holt confirmed. We will finish this, but we need to keep the pressure on. No mercy. Meanwhile, within the Galactic Council's flagship, officials gathered in a tense meeting. The counselors, once confident in their superiority over Earth and every other race they had encountered, now found themselves on the defensive. Why are we allowing this to happen? Counselor Relak demanded, slamming his hand on the table. We've underestimated Earth. We assumed they were weak, primitive. But now they're slaughtering us in space. His voice was tinged with anger and disbelief. Calm down, Relak. Another counselor, Zoran, replied. We need to think clearly. This was a calculated risk. They caught us off guard, but they are not invincible. We still outnumber them. But can we stop them? Relak countered. We don't know how many ships they have hidden. We were too confident. And now we're paying for it. Our forces are in disarray. Our fleets are falling apart. Zoran looked out at the holographic projections of Earth's forces, which were still moving in flawless coordination. We have underestimated them once, but we will not make the same mistake again. We will regroup and retaliate. Retaliate? Relak scoffed. How can we retaliate when we can't even track them? Their cloaking technology is beyond anything we've ever encountered. At that moment, a young officer rushed into the council chamber, his face pale and shaking. Sir, we've lost communications with half of our remaining fleet. The humans, they've sent reinforcements. The room fell silent as the gravity of the situation set in. The Galactic Fleet was faltering, and Earth had just demonstrated that they were more than capable of defending themselves. And then some. Back on Earth, General Holt's eyes never left the screen. The fleet was making steady progress. The Galactic Council was starting to retreat, but they wouldn't back down easily. The Council had never seen a force like Earth's hidden fleet, and they had no idea what Earth's next move would be. Holt's expression hardened as he gave the next order. Deploy Phase 2. We will not stop until they surrender or are destroyed. Meanwhile, the Council's ships began to regroup, but the damage was done. Their confidence was shattered, and as Earth's fleet continued to advance, the Galactic Council now found itself fighting for survival, not just dominance. Prepare the counteroffensive, Captain Trask barked into the comms. We'll hit them where it hurts. We've underestimated them long enough. It's time to turn the tide. But even as he spoke, Trask couldn't shake the nagging feeling that this battle was unlike any he had faced before. The humans had unleashed a power the galaxy had never seen. And now it was only a matter of time before the Council would have to face the full consequences of their arrogance. The Galactic Empire's fate hung in the balance, and the first real test of Earth's strength had just begun. The battlefield was chaos. Galactic ships, once symbols of immense power, were now scattered across the void, crumpled and burning. Earth's hidden fleet, concealed in the darkness of space for so long, had unleashed a storm that the Galactic Council had never anticipated. What was once a battle for dominance had become a struggle for survival. Captain Trask, aboard the flagship of the Galactic Empire, stood in front of the massive tactical screen, his face pale. His hand shook as he tried to issue orders, but his mind was clouded with disbelief. The situation was spiraling beyond control. Report, Trask demanded, his voice tight with tension. One of his officers quickly approached, scanning the data. "Sir, we've lost another 20 ships. Communications are still jammed. We can't even get a proper count of their forces. There's something in the atmosphere, some sort of jamming signal that disables our sensors. We're flying blind." Trask's jaw clenched. His mind raced, trying to piece together the puzzle. It was clear now. Earth had not only been hiding a fleet, they had planned this. The humans had been preparing for something this entire time, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. "How long until we can regroup and launch a counteroffensive?" Trask asked, his voice barely above a whisper. "Impossible, Captain," the officer replied. "We can't form a proper fleet without our full command structure. The lower ranks are in complete disarray. We need time, and we don't have it." The Galactic Empire had always been powerful, unquestionably so. Yet Earth's sudden emergence as a formidable force was a wake-up call to the entire galaxy. The Council, once the rulers of all that they surveyed, was now faced with the reality that they had been blind to the threat that Earth posed. A single, small planet had outclassed them. "General Holt," Commander Ivanov's voice crackled through the communications system aboard Earth's flagship. "The enemy is retreating. We've hit them harder than anticipated. It's time for Phase 3. General Holt looked over the vast expanse of Earth's fleet, where millions of soldiers and officers were waiting for the next set of orders. The battle had been intense, but they couldn't afford to let their guard down. The Galactic Empire would surely retaliate, and when they did, Earth needed to be ready. "Proceed with Phase 3, Holt said calmly, his eyes locked on the screen, watching the fleeing galactic ships. "We'll push them back permanently." "Understood, General," Ivanov replied. Phase 3 was the final act. Earth had proven it was not to be underestimated, but Holt knew the Galactic Empire was not a force that would simply fade away. The Council was ruthless and wouldn't stop until they had reasserted control. Earth's hidden fleet had delivered a critical blow, but now Earth had to finish what they started. Meanwhile, on the galactic flagship, the Council had convened once again, their faces dark with anger. They had expected Earth to submit, to bow down in fear. Instead, they had unleashed the full fury of their fleet and left the Galactic Empire on the brink of collapse. "This is a disaster," Councillor Ralak shouted, slamming his fist onto the Council table. "Our entire fleet is shattered, and they've taken down our communications. We've underestimated Earth, and now we're paying the price." Councillor Zoran, who had remained calm throughout the conflict, slowly stood up. "We were wrong to think of Earth as weak. The humans have proven themselves capable of far more than we could ever imagine. But we are the Galactic Empire. We will not be defeated by a single planet." "Are you sure about that?" Councillor Relak retorted. "Their fleet is nearly indestructible. We don't have the time to recover. I suggest we consider retreat." "Retreat?" Zoran's voice grew cold. "We fought for centuries to maintain our power. We're not backing down now. The humans will feel our wrath. But first, we need to regroup and rethink our strategy." A silence fell over the chamber as the councillors pondered their next move. It was clear that Earth had become a force to be reckoned with, and their hidden fleet had shaken the Galactic Empire to its core. But the Council's pride was strong, and their will to dominate the galaxy was even stronger. On Earth, General Holt prepared to take the final step in securing humanity's place in the galaxy. The next move would be critical. Phase 3 would not only end the conflict, it would send a clear message to the Galactic Empire and any other forces who dared to challenge Earth. "Prepare for Phase 3, Holt ordered once more, his voice resolute. "We finish this here and now." The future of the galaxy was uncertain. One thing was clear: Earth had taken its place as a powerful force, and the Galactic Empire now had to decide whether it would accept this new reality or face utter destruction. The decision was made. Phase 3 of Earth's plan was set into motion, and the stakes were higher than ever. General Holt stood at the bridge of Earth's flagship, his eyes fixed on the tactical map that displayed the positions of both Earth's forces and the Galactic Empire's scattered remnants. The fleet that had once been the pride of the Galactic Empire was now reduced to a few fragmented ships, struggling to maintain a foothold in space. "We have them cornered, sir," said Lieutenant Ramirez, her voice calm but tinged with excitement. "The remaining galactic ships are attempting to regroup on the edge of the sector, but their movements are slow and disorganized." General Holt nodded, his face set in determination. "It's time to finish this. No more running. No more waiting. We make sure they never forget who Earth is." The final phase was designed to be a game-changer. Earth's fleet was small compared to the Galactic Empire's vast armada, but Earth had the advantage of surprise, technology, and a relentless will to protect their home. The fleet was equipped with advanced weapons, some of which were so powerful that even the most advanced galactic ships would not be able to withstand their might. The plan was simple: push the Galactic Empire's remnants into a trap and destroy them once and for all. The strategy had been months in the making, a perfect execution of all the lessons Earth had learned in the past. As Holt activated the command to move forward, the fleet responded with swift, synchronized action. "All ships, prepare to engage," Holt ordered, his voice steady. "This ends today." At the same time, aboard the galactic flagship, Captain Trask was struggling to regain control of the situation. The Empire's once proud fleet was limping back into formation, but every second felt like an eternity. Communications were still down, and the once powerful weapons they had relied on were either malfunctioning or destroyed. The officers around him spoke in hurried whispers, trying to make sense of the chaos that had unfolded. "We're not going to make it out of this," muttered his second-in-command, Sergeant Vec, shaking his head. "We've lost everything. Earth's fleet is more powerful than we anticipated." Trask clenched his fists, unwilling to admit defeat. He knew the Empire's pride couldn't allow for surrender, but deep down, he feared the worst. Earth's hidden fleet, once an unknown factor, had shattered their forces with terrifying precision. And now, it seemed, the humans were closing in for the kill. "Send a distress signal to the Council," Trask finally ordered, his voice low. "Maybe they can send reinforcements." But he knew it was too late. The Galactic Empire had underestimated Earth's potential, and the humans had proven they would fight with everything they had to protect their planet. There was no backup coming, no miracle that could turn the tide now. It was just Earth's fleet and the remnants of the Galactic Empire in a deadly showdown. In the void of space, the two fleets collided once more. This time, there was no hesitation, no diplomacy, only the raw power of two forces determined to emerge victorious. The battle was a symphony of destruction. Laser fire streaked across the sky, ships exploded in brilliant bursts of light, and the sound of engines screamed through the vacuum of space. General Holt's orders were clear: destroy the enemy fleet, and do so without mercy. Earth's fleet, though smaller, moved with precision, taking advantage of every opportunity to outmaneuver and eliminate the remaining galactic forces. The humans fought like warriors defending their home, each ship a symbol of Earth's unyielding resolve. On the galactic flagship, Trask's once confident demeanor had crumbled. He watched in horror as Earth's ships closed in, their weapons cutting through his fleet with devastating accuracy. The Empire's defenses were no match for the advanced technology Earth had unleashed. "We're losing," Trask shouted. "Prepare for evasive maneuvers. All ships, scatter." But it was too late. One by one, the galactic ships began to fall. The mighty Empire, which had once ruled over countless star systems, was now a broken force, its ships either destroyed or retreating in disgrace. With Earth's fleet in complete control of the battlefield, the remaining galactic forces were left with no choice but to retreat. But even in their retreat, they couldn't escape Earth's wrath. The final blow came swiftly. "General, we've done it," Lieutenant Ramirez announced, her voice filled with awe. "The last of their fleet is either destroyed or fleeing." Holt looked out at the debris-strewn battlefield, his face a mixture of exhaustion and grim satisfaction. The Galactic Empire had been humbled. Earth had proven that it was not to be trifled with, and no force, no matter how vast, could challenge humanity's will to survive. "This is just the beginning," Holt murmured, his voice steady. "We've shown them what we can do. The galaxy will know Earth's name from this day forward." With the last remnants of the galactic fleet in retreat, Earth's forces began to regroup, preparing for what came next. The war was over for now, but the message had been delivered. Earth was no longer a fragile, insignificant planet. The galaxy had learned that lesson the hard way, and as Earth's fleet sailed through the stars, their message was clear to any who might try to challenge them in the future. Humanity would never back down. In the aftermath of the decisive battle, Earth's victory over the Galactic Empire sent ripples across the galaxy. The surviving members of the Galactic Council were in disarray, their once proud alliance crumbling under the weight of humanity's unexpected and overwhelming force. Their ships, once thought to be invincible, were now nothing more than floating debris. The Empire, humiliated and broken, had been forced to retreat, with their power and influence shattered forever. General Holt stood on the observation deck of Earth's flagship, gazing out at the vastness of space. The final remnants of the galactic fleet were scattered across the stars, retreating in disgrace. It was a sight he had only dreamed of, Earth standing victorious, a beacon of defiance in the galaxy. "We did it," Lieutenant Ramirez said, her voice full of pride. "We've proven ourselves to the galaxy. No one will ever forget what we've done." Holt nodded, but his expression remained stoic. "This is just the beginning. We've sent a message, yes, but the galaxy is vast, and there will be those who won't forget how close they came to wiping us out. Our true test begins now." As the fleet returned to Earth, celebrations erupted across the planet. People from every nation came together to witness the historic victory that would be remembered for generations to come. Yet, amid the festivities, Earth's leaders knew that the galaxy's reaction to their newfound power would be unpredictable. While many would respect humanity's strength, others would undoubtedly see it as a challenge. The United Nations held an emergency session, convening representatives from Earth's global powers to discuss the future. The question on everyone's mind was, what now? "We cannot afford to let our guard down," said President Sutherland, her voice firm and resolute. "The Galactic Empire may have been defeated, but we have made enemies. The Galactic Council will not forget this. We must prepare for the future, both for peace and for the possibility of new threats." General Holt, now revered as a hero, sat at the table with Earth's leaders. His role had shifted from a military commander to a symbol of Earth's resilience. His eyes, however, were focused on a different challenge. The unknowns of a galaxy that now knew humanity was not to be underestimated. "We will need to strengthen our defenses," Holt said. "The power we've demonstrated today is not just a weapon. It's a warning to everyone who might seek to challenge us. Earth's place in the galaxy has changed, but we must ensure we are ready for anything." The debate raged on for hours, with Earth's leaders discussing alliances, treaties, and future missions to explore and protect humanity's new role among the stars. The message was clear. Earth would no longer be passive. It would rise to the challenge, prepared to defend its place in the galaxy. Meanwhile, far across the stars, the remnants of the Galactic Empire were not idle. They retreated to their homeworlds, licking their wounds, but they had learned a crucial lesson. The humans, once dismissed as weak and insignificant, had proven themselves to be the most dangerous species the galaxy had ever encountered. The surviving members of the Galactic Council, some of whom had secretly underestimated Earth's potential, were now forced to reevaluate their entire approach to intergalactic relations. A council member known as Jor Khan, one of the few survivors of the Empire's military forces, sent a transmission to his allies, his voice cold with resolve. "The humans have made their move. They've shown us what they are capable of. But this is far from over. We cannot allow them to become the rulers of the galaxy. While Jor Khan and his allies plotted their next move, the leaders of Earth were equally determined to solidify their victory and ensure their security. Earth's fleet, once hidden in the shadows, now stood as a symbol of power, its might displayed for all to see. The humans had come from the edge of the galaxy's known borders, had risen from nothing, and had claimed their place among the stars. Months passed, and Earth's influence grew. The first Earth-led intergalactic conference was held, with delegations from various star systems and species arriving to discuss peace, trade, and exploration. The scars of the war with the Galactic Empire were still fresh, but the hope for a new era of cooperation lingered in the air. Earth's reputation as a fearless and unyielding force had spread far and wide. On Earth, life slowly returned to normal, but things had irrevocably changed. Children now grew up learning about their planet's newfound legacy in space. History books were rewritten, and the galaxy that had once seen Earth as insignificant now feared and respected humanity. General Holt watched as Earth's leaders prepared to embark on new missions of diplomacy, exploration, and defense. The task was monumental, but Earth had proven one undeniable truth. Humanity was no longer a species to be trifled with. "We've won, but our journey is far from over," Holt said, standing before a vast window overlooking Earth. "The galaxy has learned that humans don't just survive. They thrive, and we will do whatever it takes to protect our world and our future." As the sun set over Earth, casting its warm glow over the cities below, a new era dawned. The message was clear. Earth's hidden fleet had stunned the galaxy, and humanity was now a force to be reckoned with. The victory had secured Earth's place in the stars, and the universe would never forget the day the humans proved they could stand up to any empire.